I need to do this video. I need to do this video. Oh, 2 years ago, I had a turning point in my life, and that was when, for the first time, I was seeing my period like a normal person. When I'm talking about being a normal person, it's because I have been around females that when they see their period, they go about their normal duties. Before the fibroid surgery I had, seeing my period was hell on earth. I would be rolling on the ground, I wouldn't be able to go out, I wouldn't be able to do anything with my life, with myself. In fact, I have once missed a school exam because my period happened to fall on the day of that class in university. It was that crazy. So I knew this was not normal. I mean, this is not what God planned for his children. I am too sure that God created the female anatomy, made all of us beautiful, made us to be able to produce kids. But he did not say that on the day of your period, that is the day you will see fire on earth. I don't think that is the natural order of things. Having a fibroid surgery, which is also known as a myomectomy, proved this theory right. If you just joined this channel, thank you. My name is Onyeba. I'm popularly known as a fitness farmer. Welcome to my channel. I'm an agro consultant, a digital creator, and I'm also a new YouTuber. As you're watching this video, please click on the like button and subscribe. So I started seeing my period quite late, I think when I was in SS1. It came with pains, I can't remember, but not really the pains that I'm about to talk about. By the time I was 21, 22, this pain now became a constant. It was so bad that I got introduced to drugs, some drugs that would help you bear these pains, drugs like Felvine, drugs like ibuprofen, enable me live my daily life. I mean, how can we have 30 days in a month and a woman's monthly cycle is between, let's say, the first day and the fourth day, or the first day to the sixth day, depending on the person. And for the first 2 days of that monthly cycle, sometimes 3, I won't be able to function. So by the time I got to 24, 25, it was so terrible. It was so terrible that before the period, I start preparing like we are going to war. I will start mixing both herbs, because I read online, some will say drink alcohol, some will say drink herbs, do mint leaf, do this, do that, do that. I will pack everything, I will boil it, I will start drinking a week before, just so that I do not pass through the gates of hell. I remember in school, in my first year university, I would be sent home. My dad would take me to the hospital for menstrual pain. I would be admitted for menstrual pain. It was that bad. Imagine somebody being admitted for menstrual pain, because when it starts, everybody starts rolling around. When it starts, I start rolling on the ground. So the doctors called it a name. They called it dysmenorrhea. But why would dysmenorrhea happen to a particular group of women and not happen to others? They have cramps. They can take like Panadol, or some can just bear it and go about their day. Then some women see their period like they are in a war front. The bullets are hitting. This particular group of women was in that category of women who see their period like we are preparing for war with so much pain. And this brings me to part 2. How did I know that I had fibroids? Because all this while, throughout all these pains for many years, I didn't know that I had fibroids growing inside me. My mom also says the same thing, that she has 5 sisters and she cannot even imagine somebody missing an exam or going to the hospital to be admitted due to pain. So she couldn't understand why my pain level was at that point. Their periods might come with cramps, but they don't get admitted in the hospital due to cramps. Something is wrong with you. Why don't you go and do a scan or to check yourself? So after that period that I saw hell, I went to do a scan. And I did a scan and they said that they saw fibroids. They told me I had fibroids, but then they said they saw about 6 or 7 and they were like tiny tennis balls along the lining of my uterus at that point in time. The word fibroid surgery sounded horrific to me, and then I said, okay, but I will not do it. Fibroids, their position is the cause of the pain that I feel anytime I see my menses. I forgot something. When this period comes, I will start bleeding like a tap. I'm not talking about drops. I'm talking about like a tap coming out with clots. Big clots will be coming out, So I think that's when I got introduced to tampons. You have to wear a tampon and a pad under just to stifle the blood, the amount of blood I would lose. And after each period, I would lose so much blood that my blood count would be so low. I will be sick and fainting, and I'll have to take lots of iron and blood tablets just to carry on. This continued to be a cycle. It affected my hormones, it affected the quality of life, it affected the amount that you spend every month on pads and tampons just to hold your blood in. And it also affected that what it does to the mind, like before it comes and after it comes, like actually a few days before it comes, you start preparing, you don't want to go out, you start doing things. So that is not life. It affected my quality of life as a whole. Then when the pains come, you wish for death. You start asking yourself if this is how labor comes, because the squeezing, it does not only start, it squeezes me from the first day to the fourth day. You are in major pains. The first 2 days you cannot bear it. I will not be able to bear the first 2 days, but the third day and the fourth day, you can bear it, but you're in serious pains and you're coming out. Let us not talk about the amount of drugs that you take every month, which is not good for a woman's cycle. Every single month of your life, imagine you taking pills like ibuprofen, Felvine. It's not what I wanted to do every single month. So it got to that point where I had to make the call. It was either my life or menstrual pain kills me. And that was how I walked to the hospital myself to do the procedure that gave me the quality of life I know that I needed. The quality of life I know God did not choose for his children. The quality of life that makes me sit down in front of this camera and speaking to somebody that is in my shoes. Before the surgery, this is what I did. Research. Doctors that perform fibroid surgeries, their success rates, and I also talked to many doctors. I talked to some friends. I would call them because they led me to the amazing doctor who performed my surgery. Her name is Dr. Amara. Amara led me to a particular doctor. I'll call his name in this video because without him and God, I will not be here speaking to you. His name is Dr. Ajadi. And the second person I talked to was Otonye. Thank you so much for being able to open up to me. She also called the same person, Dr. Ajadi. In fact, I talked to 4 people. And out of those 4 people, 3 of them called one man's name. And so I knew he was the one. He would be my doctor. I talked to Dr. Ihunda. She also referred me to him. Of course, when the whole class stands up to clap for a particular man, I knew that he is the person that would do the surgery for me. So please, are you going for a surgery? Do your due diligence. Talk to people around, talk to people that have had surgeries. I made up my mind. I came home, I talked to my parents. I was like, I'm going in for this. I'm tired. They also encouraged me because they have been with me throughout the years, seeing the horror. So they were not shocked that, they were waiting for me to get to that point because it was a do or die affair. The doctor, and we set a date. I packed my bags and I came to the hospital for the surgery. Now, how do you prepare for a surgery? Mindset. Your mindset should be one of positivity. Please do not listen to people that will say, oh, this woman died of surgery. Oh, this woman died of... People die walking on the road. People die giving birth, which is a natural thing God created. People die even choking on food. So if you're about to go for a fibroid surgery, please close your ears to the negatives and be on the positive side. After having done your research and you're listening to your doctor to take this thing out to have your life, please remove anything negative from your ears and look at the positive side. I am a Christian and I committed my life and the doctor, doing the surgery to God. And I was like, God, I've given you my life. I've given you, this is what I'm going to do. You have it. You have the final say. There are things you should pack for a surgery. You should get a pad, not the usual kind of pad, the conflict pad. There's this conflict pad that has lots of wool inside. I find that very uncomfortable, but hospitals give it. Some hospitals don't give it. You have to buy, you pack a conflict pad. You pack free nightwears because you will need, when they need to give you injections or, check your site of your wound, you will need to be free. So you pack, nightwears that are free and will give you easy access to your body. My pillow and my bed sheet because It's just me. I just like, putting my pillow and my bed sheet when I'm in the hospital. It gives me a sense of I'm near home. After this surgery early in the morning, the next day, the anesthetist came to meet me to walk me through. They removed my clothes and I wore the hospital surgery gown and I walked into the theater with my two legs. Now, getting into the theater, I was scared because, of course, when you see the scalpels and the scalpel lineup, those are surgical knives on the table. You see the lights, you see the bed. In your mind, it's like this is real. You're going off. But when you think about your before, something called the quality of life. Some people live life in pain, and you think you're living, but you're not living. For me, entering that theater, I wanted to end the pain. I used to have a 4-day cycle, but when the fibroid got really, 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 really serious, I started getting 6 to 8 days cycle, the bleeding, the trauma, the pain, the after cycle, all the drugs I'll be taking to bring my blood up because sometimes I will faint due to loss of blood. So these were the thoughts in my head when I was lying down on the theater table, like, I am done. After today, you'll be free. They put a cannula, I think it's called a cannula, through my veins, and then he said that I should sit up because he's about to give me an injection to my spine. At that point in time, I was scared, but like I said, your mind, positivity, resilience, belief in God, and trust in your doctor that you would pass through this phase. And so I sat up and they put the needle through my spine. It is called epidural because what does it do? It numbs your legs so that you won't feel the pain. And the thing about this particular surgery is I was awake through it all. They needed me to be awake, but my tummy down was as good as dead. Not dead, literally. And they kept on asking me, are you feeling your legs? Are you feeling your toes? Are you feeling your laps? So if I could raise my legs, that means it has not set in. So after some minutes, it set in and I couldn't feel my legs, I couldn't feel my toes. Then they tried to use like a small object to prod me and I wasn't feeling anything. And then they said, let us start. So I had 3 doctors in the theater and 2 nurses. And they asked me, what music do you like? At that point in time, music, I'm looking at my life like this. They're about to cut me. Now they asked me which music. So I was like, any music at all. Because when I call it scalpel, sorry, I'll call it knife. When they held the knife up, I was like, Dr. Waits. And the thing about my team is they were friendly, they were in tune with me. I could talk to them. Communication with me made it easier for me. When he raised his knife and he saw that I was scared, the other doctor started talking to me. He was like, okay, what's your name? What do you do? So I started talking about my farm. I'm a farmer. How many birds do you have? How do you operate your farms? How do you shoot your videos? And they had to engage me in this discussion so that my mind and my eyes would not be going to what was going on, around me. And so I didn't even know when they cut me. I did not know. Yes, I felt a bit of pressure, but it was pressure, just pressure, no single pain. I was awake and they cut me open and they performed. This surgery took, I think, like between 1 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. And while they were talking to me, I only felt a pull. When they are pulling the tummy open, that's when I felt no single pain, just like I said, pressure. That's the only thing I felt. And then while I was discussing, and sometimes they'll make jokes like, are you into fitness? And I said yes. And I said, that they can only see muscles here. I'm really fit. I told them thank you. So we're all discussing and laughing while my procedure was going on. And after that, he said, we are done, let us close her up. But please, we will count how many cotton pads we used to come in here and we will make sure all the cotton pads are out before we close her up. I think that was when I was even here. I'm like, doctor, now. He said, yes, so we are done. And then they closed me up. And they veined me while they were closing me up. I was telling him, please give me a clean stitch. Please, to allow me to wear my bikinis in peace. And everybody started laughing. So my whole surgery experience in the theater was a beautiful one, was a comfortable one. At the beginning of the surgery, there was one thing that the doctor did that made me also comfortable. Of course, I've said my prayers in the room before I walked into the surgery, before I walked into the theater. But before they started, he said, please stop, everyone, let us pray. And then he prayed. He prayed, everybody held hands in the theater to pray. They said they have come to God. God, you're the person that's in charge of her life. We are going to do our best, but we're giving her up to you to take control of this surgery. Those were the things that set me calm, that set and kept my mind at rest. And so when they stitched me up, of course I cannot get up. I couldn't get up, so they wheeled me out from the theater into the room. But that is not where it ended. After about, let's say, 6 hours, let's say I did that in the morning, but like 2 in the afternoon, and then the pains came. Of course, at that point in time, the high pain meds have, they have left your body. The anesthesia that they gave you, to numb your legs, I started feeling my legs, and then the pains came. Will you feel pain? Yes, you will. Will it be controlled? Yes. Can you bear it? Yes. Why I breathe and I say yes is because for somebody like me, if I can bear it, you can bear it. And of course, they were coming to give me injections to actually reduce the level of pain. Would they keep on giving you injections to calm, and suppress the level of pain that you feel? Yes. So the first night after surgery was not a good night for me. Of course, I was crying and all of that. And every 3 hours, the nurse would come and give me injections on my thighs or through the drip, just to control the level of pain I was feeling. Will it get better? Yes, it will get better. Of course, like every wound, every sore, you will feel pains. And I forgot to add something. Before you get into the theater, they would put what they call a catheter into your vagina. In your vagina, we have 2 holes, of course. The birth canal where you give birth, and the second hole, that is the urine hole. And that is where they'll pass the catheter into your body. This is because, of course, you are immobile, you cannot urinate. So that's where all your urine will pass into that bag. And they left it with me for about 2 days, and they removed the catheter after 2 days. So another uncomfortable feeling I had, not pain, before I went in for the surgery, was when they had to put that catheter into the hole for the urine place. It was so uncomfortable, but it's okay. There's no pain in that. And so I was lying on the bed, thinking, of course, as of every surgery, it is not a sweet thing. You will feel, you'll feel tired, you will feel pains, the drips, the drugs. And then they had to wait for me to fart. I needed to fart to show that, well, everything went well. In the layman's terms, like everything went well. So I started praying to, fart. So after, I don't know when I farted in this particular surgery, but I farted after 2 days, or by the next day, I farted custard little by little after 2 days, and that was it. On the second day, they told me to put my legs on the ground. I think that was another painful experience I need to put. Imagine you being cut and you are, of course, trying to heal with medications, with, of course, injections that help you to control your level of pain. But I was not prepared for that walk. They wanted me to walk, because by walking, by putting your legs on the ground and trying to walk, it also helps your healing process. It's better for you. And so I put my legs on the ground. It was painful while holding the line, the line for your drip, of course, because you have it still in one hand. And with aid from my mom, I had to get up and take my steps in walking. It was so painful, but we passed that stage. And by the 3rd day, I was discharged. Yes, I spent 3 days in the hospital during my fibroid surgery. Just 3 days, 3 nights. The night of the surgery, the second day, and by the 3rd day, because once you have passed out gas, you are good to go. Categorically speaking, you are hitting your milestones, you're walking. They have removed the catheter. They will always encourage you to walk, to just try and walk, no matter how painful. Stand upright. So going to the toilet to urinate, I think that was the hardest part for me because of pain. So I will try and get up, I'll hold my tummy. But one thing I need to say here is, after this hard part, after these 3 to 4 days, it becomes easier. So I got home to continue my recuperation. They gave me some medications, of course. They have removed the catheter. I was just taking medications and I was eating. And they will always encourage me to try and walk, not to lift heavy. If I've done any surgery, please do not lift heavy. Do not lift any heavy thing. Have help around. And then I couldn't see the wound because they put like a plaster over the wound, and they told me to come in 1 week's time. That's when they will remove the plaster. And so to bathe, I had to sit down to be able to, take my bath stylishly. In fact, I wasn't even pouring water on my body. I was using towels to clean my body because I didn't want water to touch the wound site. And after 1 week, I went back to the hospital and they removed the plaster and it sealed, and they said you can now bathe. And so yeah, after 1 week I started pouring water on my body. My wound has sealed. I was still a bit sore, small pains, but it was bearable pains. My sisters that are still thinking about doing this surgery, let me tell you the highlights of my experience. After the fibroid surgery, let's say I did it in October, your next period might be painful because your uterus is still contracting, healing. So it might be a bit painful. You might still feel a bit of pains. But by the second month, when I saw my monthly cycle, for the first time, I started crying, and my mom rushed to me like, why are you crying? What is it? I was crying because I've never had a period so easy. I've never seen blood without seeing pain. I've never, how before your period, you know that your period is coming because you'll be feeling pain, your breast is full, your back. I'll start preparing like the Armageddon. But for the first time, I didn't even expect it. I didn't see it coming. I was wrapped up in healing and, taking my meds and taking my daily walks and exercise. I didn't even see it coming. So I didn't know. It came like I was a normal girl. And for the first time, I bled without pains, without clots, normally, using normal pad, without padding 4 pads on top. So that moment was a profound moment for me because it made me understand that. So this is what other women have been enjoying without going through everything I went through. And that is the story. Now, going forward, 6 months down the line till date, do I still feel cramps? Seriously? Yes, I feel cramps, small cramps, but it is never the cramps that I need to even take Panadol. In fact, each time it took about 4 months or 5 months for me to get used to seeing my period without rolling, seeing my period without taking meds, seeing my period without, thinking for days on what is to come and how I will bear the pain ahead of me. If this video helped you, watching this is to encourage women that the only cure, if your doctor tells you we have to take your fibroids out, please take that leap. Please do it. Do it to have your life. Fibroid has killed lots of women. I'm not talking about the surgery. Fibroid has killed a lot of women. Do your research. A lot of complications come with fibroid. And for me personally, my own opinion, if your doctor tells you to go for a myomectomy is a fibroid surgery, please take his advice and go for it. That is the only way to remove a fibroid, not the herbs that you're buying by your street or the herbs people on social media are selling to shrink fibroids. Those sellers selling those mixtures on social media and claiming that their drink helps to shrink fibroid, you're only killing yourself. The end goal is surgery. The doctor tells you you need to do a surgery to remove this fibroid. Please do the surgery. If you're stuck with me down to the end of this video, please encourage me by liking and subscribing to my channel.